All right. Good morning once again. Good morning, everybody. Trust you can hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know. If you can hear me, please let me know. I'll be glad to confirm that you can hear me. If you can hear me, you can unmute yourself and say something.
I
Let
can
me.
hear you.
Okay, Marema, thank you for the feedback. And Chidi, thank you for joining. And let me tell you why I'm starting 10 a.m. It's my custom to start any class when we say we'll start, whether it's a paid training or even if it's a free conversation. There's this tendency to say, oh, let's wait another 5 minutes. And in Nigeria, it's what we call African time, and it's fit into many things we do. Not my style. This is what I believe in. I don't believe in punishing people who came early because of those who are coming in late. So when we say a meeting is 10, I start a meeting by 10. And something else I should say before I move forward, money loves speed. Don't assume that, oh, you wait and money, oh, wait. No, money is on the move. If you snooze, you lose. So 10 a.m., we are starting off. So welcome to Module 5. This is actually the fifth of the series of our money code. And now I'll just briefly tell you why we are doing this, and then we'll go on to the book review. Our speaker is ready. He'll join us in a minute. If you have been like me, you've pursued money for more than 10 years. Some of us started pursuing money when we were in primary school, some secondary. So 10, 15, 20 years, and you wonder, where is this money you've been pursuing all these years? And for many of us, we set a goal for 1 year because we want to, in the Nigerian parlance, we want to hammer. But over time, you realize that money is a long game. So the money code is for us to learn about money so that we can play the long game. And like I've said here many times, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. We don't have an investment Ponzi scheme, bring 10 naira, get 20 naira. No. This is about making money, playing the long game ethically. So thank you for joining me for the fifth section. Of course, we have our sections once every month, usually the last Saturday of the month, either 10 a.m. in the morning or 8 p.m. in the evening, depending on our speaker. So for everyone who is here, thank you for joining me. I'm going to move on to the book review. For those who have been here for a few months, we know that we have a book for the month. And let me say this to everyone. Oh, our speaker is here. Thank you, Abioye, for joining. We've started, and you know the way we go. We keep to time. Thank you very much for joining us. They say my beard is white, but I can see your own is whiter. I haven't seen you in a few days, so your beard is whiter. So, we'll see very soon. You know, we have a meeting popped up. So, the way our meeting goes, we start with a book review because since we are learning about money, we have what we usually call book of the month. So when we have read the book, we do a book review. I'm going to handle this book review because the person who was supposed to handle it couldn't make it. So I'm going to go through the book review, then I'm going to hand us over to our speaker for the day. So once again, thank you all for joining me. Today we are going to be talking about yes, how to build assets and not expenses. Abioye is going to do justice to that. How to build assets, not expenses. For some people, once their income increases, their expenditure also jumps up. No. How do you build assets? How do you grow your assets instead of growing your expenses? That's what we are going to look at today. So, but before we do, we read a book for the month, and I'm going to handle the book review quickly. Let me see how fast I can go. This is a book by Nava Ravikant, How to Get Rich Without Getting Lucky. Get rich not by luck, but by design. That's what this whole book is all about. Now, a brief of the book is, it was some tweets, I call it a tweet storm by Naval, that were compiled together. And so he had to put some explanation behind the tweet. And it's quite rich when it comes to making money. A lot of lessons we can learn. So I'm going to start by, he opened by talking about wealth versus money versus status. What's the difference between wealth and money and status? If you say somebody is wealthy, What do you mean? If you say somebody has money, what does he mean? If you say status, what does he mean? Now, he defined 3 of them, and I'm going to go through the definitions. Wealth is assets that earn while you sleep. Example, your business. Example, real estate. Example, intellectual property. It buys you freedom. That's wealth. 2, money is a social credit system. Let me briefly define money. When we were in secondary school, they defined money to us as a means of exchange. If you ever heard that definition of money as a means of exchange, you can put that in the comment section. I need to, whoever was learned about money as a means of exchange. But that's not all money is. Some new thing I'm learning about money. One of that very good definition of money is a store of value. What's the difference? People who think money is a means of exchange earn and spend. Once they get money, they exchange it for a car, they exchange it for food, they exchange it for clothes, because they only define money as a means of exchange. But those who understand money as a store of value know how to use money to build assets. Because once you buy assets, you are storing value. Important definition I'll dive into in another session. Then status is just a rank in the society. They say, oh, this person is big, this is that, this is status. And playing the status game is a zero-sum game. Trying to feel like you belong when you don't belong. Borrowing money to look rich. Buying a when you can't afford. Those are status game, and it's a zero-sum game. Now, the key takeaway from this first session of the book is focus on building wealth, not just chasing money and status. That's key. Now, playing the right game. If you play the wrong game, even if you win, you have lost. Online, they say play stupid game, win stupid prizes. So playing the right game. Avoid the status game. Don't compete for social validation. 2, embrace iterated games. Now, let me deal with the word iterated. It means that games that you play over time, where you build wealth, knowledge, relationship, and so the game compounds with iteration. You do it the first time, you don't do it very well. You do it the second time, you do it better. You do it again, you make more friends. You do it again, you gain experience. You do it again, you gain relationship. Iterated game. Don't do this one-hit wonder. Do it once and that is all. Then this I say here a lot. That's why I mentioned again and again, we are not doing a Ponzi scheme. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is learning to grow your wealth. Choose long-term people and industries. Don't do the flash in the pan thing. Look for how you can build long-term. Fields that have enduring potential. I can easily tell you, real estate has enduring potential. Food has enduring potential. Shelter, clothing, enduring potential. Play the long game. Technology has enduring potential if you keep iterating and growing. Now, he talks about building specific knowledge. And one of the funny things he said about building specific knowledge is that school cannot train you for specific knowledge. Now, let me tell you why. A school has a class, 10 people, 20 people, 40 people. So school cannot train you for specific knowledge. It's a knowledge you gain by yourself. And specific knowledge is hard to replicate. It's something that only few people know, only few people can do, and then they get paid. I like this second one. It feels like play. For me, talking feels like play. Seriously, one thing that feels like play for me is what I'm doing right now. Of course, if you look at my WhatsApp status, it has Kentucky, the king of talk. I like talking. Talking feels like play. And when I hear people, oh, they have a challenge with talking, I train on public speaking, I train on effective communication. For me, it feels like play. You don't even have to pay me. If you pay me, it's a bonus, but talking feels like play. For you, what feels like play to you? I know somebody in this call who reading, writing feels like play. You can gain specific knowledge in that area. For some people, coding feels like play. A friend said to me one day, I can't imagine sitting down to read all of this. But for some people, writing a code, it feels like play. So something that feels like play, feels natural, something you can do long term. That's where you should grow specific knowledge, not something that seems like work, not something you have to be forced to do, not the kind of thing you say, if not that they were paying me, I would never do this. For me, writing feels like play. Talking feels like play. Teaching feels like play. So are you surprised I'm talking this morning? Not at all. So something that feels like play. And there's something you are genuinely curious about. You want to know a little more of it. You want to know a little more. That will help you to grow specific knowledge. Now he talks about leverage. Next, he talks about leverage. Leverage amplifies your judgment and your effort. Without it, you trade time for money. With it, your output scales indefinitely. Let me say leverage, what leverage is. If I work for 1 hour and you pay me 1,000 naira, there's no leverage. Because for me to earn 10,000 naira, I need to work for 10 hours. But what if I write a book or I write a code, for example, a code? This program is running on Zoom, right? Zoom had written this code some time ago, but I have to pay them to use their code. WhatsApp is running on the code, a code written once and it keeps earning. It's like an app. That's like a code. That's like leverage. Another example of leverage is media. You write a book, you do a podcast, you do videos. I have 2 trainings on Udemy. I've done them like 2 years ago or more. They are still on Udemy, they still earn. There's a book I've written how many years ago? Of course, it still earns. That is leverage. You do it once and you earn again and again. The thing with paid employment is if you go to work for 1 month, you are paid for 1 month. If the next month you don't go to work, nobody's going to pay you. They're actually going to fire you. So that there's no leverage there. You must go beyond working for money to leverage. Number 3, deploying capital. This is talking about investment. I'm not going to deal with this because I believe our guest speaker will deal a lot about investment. But when you invest your capital and it brings return, that is leverage. And then finally, labor. This is not you working, no. This is getting people to work for you. I've run projects. I know what it means to have 10, 15, and 100 people on site in one day. They work and then they work for you. You pay them. Of course, with their permission, because you are paying them, that is leverage. It helps. It's a force multiplier. It's not just what you can do, what you can earn from what you can do, but from writing the code, like having a website or an app, media, investing capital, or labor, getting other people to work for you, you can actually earn. I'm going to talk quickly about owning your destiny. He talks about taking risk under your own name. It means that you put your reputation on the line so that people get to know you. Recently, I've been doing a lot of videos and putting them out there. Of course, it's taking a risk because when you start talking outside, you need to take a stand on issues. You need to take a stand on the nation. You need to take a stand on topical issues. You need to take a stand on what you believe in. So you are taking a risk. But if you don't do that, nobody would ever know your name. Nobody would ever quote you. Nobody would know you. And if nobody knows you, nobody will patronize you. Building a public brand. Yes, building a public brand. Of course, that's when you put yourself outside. And then equity is a reward for building a public brand. There's a reason why Joe Rogan, if we don't know him, he's a podcaster, earns millions annually from just podcasting. It's because his brand has become an equity. Now, I'll take a minute here and talk about this. Build and sell. Some people are good at building, others are good at selling. But what Nava was talking about here is if you combine building and selling, you are nearly unstoppable. Now, if you need to learn, if you need to train, if you need to grow yourself, these are 2 areas you should learn to grow yourself. Building a product, a design, write a book, do a video, or do a lesson, whatever it is you are good, or make a shirt, or build a house, learning to build. Now, if you don't know how to build, but you know how to sell, you can sell what other people have built. So if you have one of the 2, if you can build, people can sell for you. If you can sell for people. You make money both ways. But when you have 2 of them put together, your ability to build, mastering the ability to build and sell, Nava says you are almost unstoppable. For those joining us, we are just doing our book review, book of the month. I hope you read the book of the month. So I'm just going over it. This is how to get rich without being lucky. It means that you can actually get rich intentionally. You build wealth, not you expect luck or inheritance. Now, he talks about compound interest. I don't want to spend too much here, but like I said, building wealth like I've learned will take a minimum of 5 to 10 years. Building wealth, I'm not saying stumbling into money, I'm not saying getting an inheritance. Meaningful wealth takes about a decade. So I don't need you to beat up yourself if you try to get rich in 1 year and it didn't work. Personally, I'm starting to work on minimum a 5-year time frame. I'm working on some things and I'm asking myself, what will it be in 5 years? The money code, I'm asking myself, oh, we have this number on the group right now. We have this number in this call presently. Let me check. Oh, we are 16 people in this meeting presently by Zoom count. But I'm asking myself, what will it be in 5 years? What will it be in 3 years? I'm never asking myself, what will it be at the end of the year? At the end of the year, we'll look and we keep building because anything substantial takes time to build. I've been on building projects that have lasted 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and some 10 years. It's not as if the work stopped. Any serious building, like building weight, will take you 5 to 10 years. I need you to have that at the back of your mind and then be lenient on yourself. If you've not made money in 1 year, it doesn't mean that you are failing. Keep building, iterating, leverage, keep building, keep building. Don't give up after 1 year. Don't give up after 2 years. No, keep building. Somebody said, if you give up, you lose. If you don't give up, you will win. Keep building. Number 2, make sure that you have something that is scalable. If you have something that is scalable, it means that it's not like you have to work 100 hours to make $100. No. Work 1 hour and then you can leverage it to make $100. Something that is scalable so that it can, let me use the Nigerian word, blow, but the actual word, it can grow into something bigger. And then zero shortcuts. Zero shortcut. Play the long game. Play the long game. Don't look for get rich quick scheme. It ends in tears. Play the long game. We've dealt with this for a couple of times. Get rich quick scheme. Why does it not work? Why do people win lottery and lose their money? So play the long game. Okay, so he left us a small formula for wealth. Number 1, he said own equity. Own equity. Don't just collect salary. True freedom comes from owning a piece of a business or an asset, not salary. The thing about salary is what you earn, you will likely spend, but what you invest will come back to you, and it's called return on investment. Return on equity. I've never had return on salary. People earn to spend, don't earn to spend. Like we are learning today, earn and build assets, not just expenses. 2, embrace patience. I've dealt with this. Wealth creation is a marathon. Avoid schemes that promise speed over substance. MMM. Yes, it comes in different ways. Sometimes it comes now in crypto. Sometimes it comes in an online investment. Don't fall for it. Then be ethical. Be ethical. Wealth built by creating genuine value is sustainable and defensible. I did a video 3 days ago and I said, always bring value. Even if you are an employee, bring value. As a businessman, bring value. Now, let me summarize. I've taken quite a couple of minutes on this. Let me summarize to our guest speaker for the day. The book, How to Get Rich Without Being Lucky by Naval Ravikant. 4 key thoughts from the book. Number 1, seek wealth, not status. We define the difference between wealth and money. Wealth is what brings in income. It's leverage that brings income. Money is what people spend. Like we said, people define money as a medium of exchange. They don't define it as a store of value, but wealth is a store of value, something you have that brings a return. That's 1. Seek wealth, not status. Don't look for status or the big boy in town or the new latest Ashwebi, the latest car. No, seek wealth, not social validation. Number 2, develop specific knowledge. And here we talked about develop specific knowledge, and it's better for you in an area that is play to you. You have fun. Now, I need somebody to help me in the comment section. If there's something you have fun doing, please put it in the comment section. I'm going to talk to you about it. Are you doing it? Like I told everybody here, I enjoy talking. Talking makes me come alive. Talking is play to me. I answer Kentucky, King of Talk, not for fun, because I enjoy doing this and I can develop specific knowledge. I have a course in Udemy. I think that course is almost 5 hours plus on communication because it's something I enjoy doing. So, and I earn from doing it. So, whatever it is you love doing, please put it in the comment section, particularly for even if there are people I don't know, I'm going to check if you are doing it. And then talk about embrace leverage and accountability. Embrace leverage. Don't try to build wealth on what you can do alone again and again. Find what is replicable. And we talked about 4 kinds of leverage. Writing a code, like the IT people, media, whether it's a book, it's a video, it's a podcast. Then we talked about labor, where other people work for you. And then we talked about equity, investing in a business, owning a business or investing in a business. And then finally, this is where it all stops. Play the long game. Wealth creation is not a 1-year thing. It's not a 1-month thing. It's not a put in 10 naira today, get 100 naira tomorrow. It's not get rich quick scheme. Play the long game. Final thoughts. The most important skill in getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner. Never stop learning. And that is the whole idea behind the money code. I actually wanted to make money in 2026. I still have my money target for 2026, but I said to myself, why don't I, how much do I know about money? I want to make money, but how much do I know? I said, okay, let me learn about money. And I thought, okay, why don't we learn it as a community? So the most important skill for getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner. To have an opportunity to learn today from somebody who has been in this game for a very long time and has built massive things in the real estate industry in Abuja. So I'm going to bring in a guest speaker for today. But before I do, I need to say this to everybody. Thank you all for joining us for today. I've seen the number grow, but like our custom is 23 on the call now. We start at 10 a.m. So if you are part of this conversation, learn that money loves speed. We don't say, oh, let's wait for 5 minutes, let's wait for 10 minutes. No. For people like Mariana that joined us at 10, Chizoba that joined us at 10, Chidi that joined us at 10, we start immediately. Money loves speed. We don't have all the time to waste. Our guest speaker is giving us his time, so we don't want to waste it. Now, I need to say this to everybody. There is a WhatsApp group that makes communication over the money code easy. We share our book of the month, we share lessons, we share tips. For example, this month we shared a budgeting template for people to have a budget for the month. I know most of us on this call may not have a budget, but we have a template for a budget. So you can just drop a message in the comment section if you want to be part of the money code. I'll drop the group link later. Okay, Chidi, if you can help me extract the group link and drop it, please do. Or drop the group link so that you can join the money code WhatsApp group. And then, of course, we can always continue our conversations from there. So thank you very much for joining me. And I'm going to pause it here now and invite our guest speaker for the day. He's been a friend for quite a couple of years. And it's my pleasure to bring our guest speaker for the day. And I'm going to step out of your way once it comes in. So Abioye has been a friend and he's a real estate developer. He's the MD CEO of Lifestyle Asset Hub. He's going to talk to us about building assets. So he's somebody who has built assets over the years. So he's going to talk to us about building assets. I need you to get your pen and paper, get them ready. Of course, thank God that this meeting is being recorded. But if there are things you can put down, please put down. We'll share the recording as we usually do later. So it's my pleasure to welcome my brother and friend Abioye to take over the conversation from here. So please, can we give him some emojis? You know, when we are live on, we say put your hands together, but now we are online. Please give him some thumbs up, some likes, some hearts, some shares. So let's make him welcome. And I will sign off here. It's been Kenneth Obebo talking to you. I'm the host of this Money Code. My pleasure to hand over to Abioye. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Engineer Kenneth, for this invitation to share this platform this morning. I'm very super excited to be here today. I hope I'm audible, and I'm so also glad that this session is being recorded because I intend to listen to myself after this session and also have one or two things to learn. All right. And I must thank you all for showing up. It's Saturday, and Saturday comes with a lot of activities and so on. So the fact that you could make the sacrifice to be on this call today, I can assure you that there is a word for you this morning. I can assure you that. And I'm sure you're going to write Engineer Kenneth a love letter at the end of this session today, because I believe strongly you'll be very delighted that you came. And, myself and Engineer Kenneth, we share a lot in common. Speaking, impacting knowledge, training is our passion, and real estate is our business. And we both discovered very early in life that if we focus primarily on our passion, we might end up becoming passionately broke. Okay, we might end up becoming passionately broke because our passion is something we could do for free. We don't even care if we get paid for it or not. But there are bills to be paid. We need to take care of our families. We need to take care of ourselves. So that means that we need to create a business, and of course, and real estate becomes that business that basically funds our passion. And I'm so glad that after years of friendship, we are still connected, and we are still adding value to humanity. Now, when I saw the topic given to me by Engineer Kenneth, building assets and not expenses, I had a very deep smile, when I saw the topic, because this is nothing new to anybody on this call. Okay. And when he asked me, am I going to use a PowerPoint slide? Of course, I have a series of slides, on topics like this. But I did a deep reflection, knowing the quality of guests that will be on this call. And because anyone that falls into a community developed by Engineer Kenneth, definitely you've got to be someone of quality, someone of experience, someone that have seen life, largely. So I just didn't want to just sit in front of you with my PowerPoint slide and start teaching. No, I don't want to teach. I want to make this a conversational. And I really want to take this topic from a different perspective entirely. Now, before I go into those perspectives I have for you this morning, I would like to ask a question. I need somebody to volunteer. Okay, I need a great mind to volunteer. And if you intend to volunteer, just raise up your hand digitally. Then I'll ask you to unmute yourself. Then you respond to my question. What would you refer to as an asset from your experience and knowledge? What would you refer to as an asset? Anybody wants to help us quickly? Quickly. I need us to have a conversation. Thank you, Chidi. Please unmute yourself. What will you refer to as an asset?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
for me,
Chidi.
an asset will be any physical or soft solution or object or property that you have acquired that brings in income or brings in some form of income or profit that doesn't hold any form of liability to you or doesn't constitute any form of liability to you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I like the way you ended it. That does not hold any form of liability to you. Very strong statement. And I want to encourage every one of us to please take note. Make sure you have your P square. Make sure you have your P square. When I say P square, I mean your pen and your paper. Your pen and your paper. Okay. these two components changed my life. Okay, these two components changed my life. Make sure you jot along. Do not overrate your brains. Okay, do not overrate your brains. All right. Thank you, Chidi. Okay, Adedigba, kindly unmute yourself. What, in your own perspective, what is an asset?
Good morning, everyone.
Good
An
morning,
asset
sir.
could be physical and it could be virtual. So, for example, knowledge that we have received this morning is an asset. It's an asset, and it could make me liquid anywhere I am, in as much as I hold that knowledge in excess of people that will gather together. I have that asset. That shows that I'm liquid more than them in aspect of
Beautiful.
that knowledge. Imagine there's a
Beautiful.
reward. That is when that my knowledge can now turn to money because I
Beautiful.
have it, they don't have it. So knowledge is also
Fantastic.
an asset, but it's a virtual one.
Beautiful. I like what you just said. You know, knowledge is also an asset. You know, and now let me deepen this conversation. And Engineer Kenneth, please get ready to converting this recording into a very unusual podcast on YouTube. So get ready. You know, get ready. Now, let me ask. Because Mr. Adedigba takes us to another very interesting perspective because, you know, Chidi said something very striking, you know, anything physical, you know, anything tangible that can give you income that does not have any form of liability to it is an asset. Okay, now, if Mr. Adedigba is saying knowledge is an asset, which every one of us would definitely agree to. So which is more important? Okay, the knowledge aspect or the physical aspect? Quickly, the knowledge aspect or the physical aspect? Do we have another great mind in the house that wants to chip in something? Oh, do we have just... Okay, now let me go to Uchenna. Uchenna, let me talk to you. Uchenna, please unmute yourself.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, you asked a question if the physical assets or maybe the liquid is the most important. I will go for the, let me use the word the liquid, the one that is not seen. That is the intellectual one, because it takes the intellectual to bring forth the physical. For if you don't have anything in your mind or upstairs, there's no way you can put it into developing something that can be tangible or visible. So for me, the intellectual is the most important here, because that's where you can get the other ones.
Beautiful. Thank you, Uchenna. Thank you so much. Greg, unmute yourself, sir. Gregory. Quickly. We need to be as fast as possible before Engineer Kenneth kicks me out of this meeting.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely for me, it has to be the intellectual aspect and the knowledge, because everything that ever came to be from someone's thinking and reasoning. So everything we have seen on the planet Earth today not generated itself. A human mind went to work and brought it to be. So what it simply means is that every time the human mind goes to work, something is invented, something is generated, or something is created. So definitely the intellectual property is more valuable than the physical asset. Thank you.
Wow. Anytime the human mind goes to work, something powerful is created. Thank you, Gregory. That is so solid. Stanley, finally, with you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I think I would go with the liquid, because anything that is built physically is first built twice, which is from your mind before it's being built physically. So even though it's destroyed physically, so far as it's still in your mind, it can still be reviewed again.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much. So we are all technically on the same page on this, okay? Now you guys have made my job so easy. So basically, an asset, okay, an asset, you know, if you want to define an asset from the financial economic point of view, okay, you will say an asset or assets are resources designed to generate future economic benefits. Okay, assets are resources designed to generate future economic benefits. For example, cash could be an asset if properly deployed. Inventory could be an asset. Okay. Do you know you can tell yourself, you know what? I want to play the inventory game. So instead of me saving all my money in the bank, for example, let me do the inventory game from the agro aspect, for example, whereby you could own a private silo. Okay, silo, whereby you on maybe a very small one, it mustn't be big. And anytime you have some money, you buy wheat and you store it inside. You have 5 million tomorrow, you buy wheat, you store it inside. Okay. And your silo is so created in such a way that infection, the wheat do not get infected. Then during the period of crisis, okay, you unleash and you bring your commodity to the market. And guess what? Okay, you could decide that, you know what, I want to be storing palm oil, for example. Okay, instead of me putting my money in the market, in the bank, I'll be storing it. Then when there is increase, okay, in the price of palm oil, then I bring my palm oil to the market. Okay, that is an asset. Inventory. Property could also be an asset. And and of course, patents. A beautiful idea you have and you patent it, then of course it becomes an asset. Of course, liabilities are obligations arising from past transaction that would require an outflow of resources. Mark the word outflow of resources, okay, because your expenses are your liabilities. All right. However, I would like to base the premise of my conversation with you all this morning from the point of financial intelligence. Okay, from the point of financial intelligence and not necessarily academic, angle to defining what an asset is. Okay, and of course, a good number of us must have read the book Rich Dad and Poor Dad. If you have not read that book, Engineer Kenneth did an excellent job. Okay, when he was reviewing doing the book review earlier today. So I felt as if I had read the book already, and I'm going to look for that book and read. All right, and that's the beauty of being in a community like Money Code, for example, because it exposes you to materials that helps to reshape your mind. Like Gregory said earlier. So it's very, very important, okay, that we read the book Rich Dad and Poor Dad, okay. And in that book, Kiyosaki simply defined, very simply, I've never understood asset and liability that easy. That an asset is simple. Something that brings money to your pocket is an asset. And something that brings money outside of your pocket is an asset. So there is an exercise I would like you all to do this night. Please don't do it tomorrow. By the time you do it tomorrow, you've lost momentum already. And if you are driven by me, it's okay. If you are driven like me, all right, make sure you do it immediately after this session. Just pick a sheet of paper like this and a pen. You draw out 2 columns. Okay. On the left side, you write your asset. You write my assets. On the left side, you write my liabilities. Then list out everything that brings money into your pocket right here. Everything that brings money into your pocket, list it all out. All right. Then list out everything that takes money outside of your pocket. All right. If you own a car, I'm sure you know where to put your car. It's complete liability, except you are using your car for Bolt or Uber. All right. and your car is bringing revenue to you, then it is an asset automatically. If you live in a house that is owned by you, fully occupied by you and members of your family, please respect yourself and put that house under liability. All right? Because you spend money to maintain that house, especially those of you that live in multi-level apartments, 2-level floor duplexes, and so on. Because if you don't maintain it well, you have visitors, and your visitor will ask you, who sent you? Why not just stay in a 2-bedroom flat apartment? All right. Except that house of yours, you have rented it out. Okay. Then that house, or you are using that house for short stay, like Airbnb. All right. Then that house becomes an asset. Then after you've done the listing of your assets and liabilities, you do a total. You do a total. All right. And please do this exercise before you do your night prayers so that you know exactly what to pray about. If your liabilities are a lot more than your assets, that means you do not have the right to sleep tonight. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those speakers that will tell you that, oh, if you sleep too much, you become poor. No, you need to sleep, because sleep is your most important medication. But sleep must never be a right. Sleeping must be a reward for a day well spent. So the deprivation you'll be giving yourself tonight, don't worry, you will make it up later. You've got to stay awake and ask yourself, what do I need to do to increase my income? Okay, which of the industries can I play in? Which company can I invest into? Okay, what type of real estate can I go into? Okay, what skills do I have I can easily, quickly commercialize? All right. Like, for example, I heard Engineer Kenneth saying that he has a course on Udemy. Okay. Now, he could do his speaking for free and everything and so on, but he's smart enough to codify, articulate, structure his knowledge into a course worthy that can be paid for online. At least that can be part of his assets. Are we together? Yes. So it is very important, extremely very important, okay, that we do this exercise this night. Okay, I did mine some 10 years ago and I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. And I made it a point of duty that I do this exercise every quarter, because our lifestyle changes rapidly. And if you are not careful, if you don't tame your lifestyle can drift you to the point of liability and expenses. All right? Especially if you are one that is easily influenced by social pressure. Now, let's go into my perspective. All right. The perspective I will want to rest my argument on assets and expenses, okay, it's based on the most powerful, mark this carefully, is based on the most powerful invisible forces on your personal balance sheet. Okay, my argument this morning is based on the most powerful invisible forces on your balance sheet. I'm sorry, I might disappoint you by not going too much into the physical parts, by talking to you about the kind of investment you have to make, the kind of going into money markets, bonds, real estate, and so on and so on. Even though I'm going to open one or two people's eyes into a form of real estate you can start with. You must not be a developer to be in real estate. You must not be a realtor. That might not be your area of strength. But everybody on this call today, if you must be wealthy, you must be an active player in real estate. And it is very, very, very dynamic. Very, very dynamic. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 perspective to share with you today. And I believe that Engineer Kenneth will be so kind enough to allow me complete this 8 perspective with you. Because I'm not just talking to you today, I'm also talking to myself. And that's the beauty of my passion. Because when I train, Okay, I simply become better. So what that means that when you listen to me, you've done me a favor first before I'm doing you any favor. So it is mutual. So I must also thank you all. So don't just say, oh, Abioye, thank you so much for this very interesting perspective. No, I must thank you too for listening to me and giving me opportunity. That's why I want to encourage every one of you, if you want to be a master of your craft, for every good knowledge you have, teach it. For every good knowledge you have, teach it. The more you teach it, the better you become. There are certain phrases I have said this morning. I have never made those phrases ever in my life. Never, ever. That's why I'm glad that this is being recorded, because I intend to listen to myself all over again. And that is the power of teaching. And it makes you a better leader. Now, these are the perspectives I want us to look into that can help us build massive, rapid assets that can help us win the game of money. Because it's either we win the game of money or money wins us. All right? And I'm sure you want to win the game of money. The first perspective is the relational perspective to building assets. The second perspective is habit as a tool for assets and liability. The third is self-perception. Okay, how you perceive yourself determine if you are building an asset for yourself or not. Then I will talk about sensual asset. Sensual asset. All right. Then, of course, I'm going to talk about people as an asset and liability. Okay. Then I'm going to talk about spiritual asset to building wealth. All right. Then I'm going to talk about energy management. And of course, intellectual assets, where I will wrap up. Okay, then somebody will be saying, okay, Abioye, how does all this perspective help me in building the biggest estates in Africa? How does this perspective bring 100 million in my account by December? I will show you. Because it's all before anything physical is being generated. Okay, your mind needs to be properly fed. The quality of your mind determines the quality of your product. And every product represents the integrity of the manufacturer. So your integrity is directly in line with your product you put out there. Why not focus on working more on yourself than working on your product? Because if you spend 75% of your time working on yourself and 25% of your time working on your product, trust me, you create a world-class product. All right. So now, relational perspective. What that means is that for you to build, you can boast that you have great assets. The question I have for you is that what is the quality of your relationship? Okay. Who are the people you know? Because your relationship could be an asset and could also be a liability. Okay. So when you are going into relationship, you need to be asset and liability conscious. There is no sentiment here. Okay. So what that simply means is that you yourself, in every relationship you want to go into, you must be a person of asset. Okay. You must be a person that can be referred to as an asset. You must be a person of great value. That when somebody is doing a relationship audit, you will be on their asset column and not on their liability column. All right. So every relationship that constantly takes out of you is an expenses, it's a liability. And every relationship that constantly adds to you, it's a complete asset. So you must do everything to protect that relationship. You must ensure that as that relationship is adding to you, you are also adding to that relationship in return. Okay. Any business partnership you are going into, okay, do an audit. Your business partners, are they bringing clients? Are they bringing paying clients to you? Or are they bringing clients that are adding to your headache? Okay. So what that simply means is that when you are listing assets, it's not just about those physical things like houses, the number of stock in companies. Okay. Ensure that you start looking at relationships as assets. Okay. Start investing in relationships that are quality to you. Make sure that you protect those relationships. Because in the days of adversity, those relationships will come true for you. Okay, I'm speaking from experience now. In the days of adversity, those relationships you had invested into will show up. Because let me explain this to you. The worst time to sell your property to take care of a challenge is when you are under pressure. Okay. Real estate, if you are not careful, could be a complete liability. Because you know what they say, somebody is selling distress sales. Of course, that person is selling either at cost price or below cost price because the person has an emergency medical issue or something. They need to save a life. They need to save their reputation. So the worst time to sell your real estate is when you are under financial pressure. What real estate simply does for you that it gives you bragging rights. It gives you negotiation rights. Okay, you can use it to take loans for the purpose of building assets. Okay, in terms of you are investing that loan into a business. Okay, it gives you security. And if there is something you can fall back on, that is what gives you. So real estate, technically speaking, gives you security and not necessarily liquidity. There is a gross difference between security and liquidity. Of course, we all need financial security, but we need liquidity too. People, relationship could be your liquidity factor. Are we together? In the days of adversity, people could show up for you. They could say, you know what, hold on to this 1 million, hold on to this 5 million. When you are balanced, send it back to me. They are doing that because of the quality of your investment in their lives. So one thing you do as part of your activities today is that you are going to do a relationship audit. Who are the valuable people in your life? Okay, now how can you add value to them? How can you protect them? How can you convert them into your asset on your asset list? Knowing that, God forbid, if something happens to you today, you know that if everybody neglects your children, you know that this person will take care of my children should anything happen to me today. Are we together? So it's very important that we invest in relationships, okay? And of course, that relationship automatically becomes an asset. So you need to also do an audit of your role in every relationship you are into. Are you constantly demanding? Are you constantly placing a demand on that relationship? It is better you invest more in that relationship than the demand you are placing. Of course, once in a while, you place demand on relationships, but it must not be a perpetual, habitual thing. It must not be something you are known for. Okay, every relationship you are into, the safety, the financial stability of that person you are in a relationship with, it's very important, should be very important to you. So you must always seek to add to them. There is this saying that if everybody gives, nobody lacks. If everybody can sincerely give, trust me, nobody is going to lack in our society. So in every relationship you are into, be the giver. And guess what? You always end up attracting who you are. For example, anybody that gifts me something, automatically in my mind, I feel so indebted to the person. It automatically, I will just be so restless. I will just be asking myself, what can I give this person? It may not necessarily be in financial or material things. What value can I add to this person for the gift or for the support this person had given to me? So that is relational perspective to building assets as against expenses and liability. Okay. Number 2, habits. Your habit could be an asset and could be a complete liability to you. Are we together? Your habit could be an asset and it could be a complete liability to you. Excuse me, please. All right. So what I need you to do as part of I'm giving you so much assignments, all right? You know, when people come towards me and say, oh, Abioye, I want you to be my mentor, you know what I normally do? I give them assignments. And guess what? Most of them, they never come back. Only few typically come back. You know, once I know that a young man is coming to me, oh, I want you to be my mentor, I will just give you the person an assignment. So I use that as a way of safety and knowing who is serious or not. So this activity I'm giving to you is for yourself, not for me. Okay, because everything I'm asking you to do, there are things I'm doing already, and there are things I'm inspired to do also today, okay, as part of the post-conversation activities. So you do an habits audit. What is your habit like? All right. What is your daily? Do you have a daily learning habit? Do you have an habit of learning every day? Okay, of high income skills. Okay, whereby it's okay. This I need to build these skills. Like Jim Rohn would say, never wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Never wish for less challenge. Wish for more skills. Philosophies, great philosophies. Do you have an habit of building great philosophies? Okay, it's very important, and you build the right philosophy by reading the right book. All right, and like I always say, what the book you are reading is not designed to make you great. Okay, what will make you successful in life is in you already. It's in your DNA. Okay, what books do for you, and what the kind of conversation trainings like this do for you, they are not designed to make you great. No, they are designed to stimulate the greatness that is in you already. Okay, that's why I consider myself as an intellectual stimulator. I simply stimulate greatness out of people because that is how God has designed us in his image to be great. So you are a great person. So do not underestimate yourself and do not undermine yourself. You undermine yourself when you engage in very terrible bad habits. Okay, habits like constantly taking loans, constantly living above your expenses, habits of going out of your way to contributing towards Ashwaebi. All right. And you know you cannot afford it, but you have to borrow money from an online app because you want to buy a liability. You want to invest in a liability. It doesn't make sense. It's not a good habit. Okay. Habit staying late at night on social media is a terrible habit. Except your business lies on social media and you are trying to post value that will generate money for you. But if all you just do is to read gossip, who is beating who is saying this, who is having cancer, who is doing this, and you are just there all night, 2 a.m., you are still there, it's a terrible habit. It has to stop. Okay. Habits not staying on social media that is not regulated. You must regulate. Okay. I have no business spending more than 1 hour of my day on social media. I post, I scan through, I leave. I come back again. Anytime I'm reading and I feel my brain is about to burst, of course, I drift into the street of Instagram to see what is happening. I refresh my brain, then I quickly run out again. Then I continue what will add value to my life. It's very important, very, very important. All right. So, for example, a very great habit that we all can leverage on is automated investing before spending. Okay. Preventive health maintenance is a great habit. You wake up in the morning, you take a walk. Okay. When you invest in your body through preventive health maintenance, you know what you are doing? You are protecting your most important asset. Your most important asset is your body. Because once your body becomes weak, it will lack the capacity to move you to that place, to that height you are supposed to be. So you need to see your body, this frame structure of yours, as your number one asset that must be trained. Okay, and this body, this flesh, is so indisciplined, very indisciplined, very, very indisciplined, very, very indisciplined. Okay, and that's why this body must be a slave to your mind. Okay, your mind should be the master of your body. So your mind wakes you up in the morning and say, oh yeah, body, you've got to do 10,000 steps this morning for me. And you take your body on a 10,000 step. And guess what? You feel a whole lot fitter. Okay, you go to the gym. Okay, you do your push-up. You are investing in your asset, in your most important asset, your body. Very important. Okay, another great habit is networking with purpose. Okay, your ability to network with purpose is an asset by itself. Some people coming through for me today are people I met through networking events. Sometimes I pay my way to travel out of Nigeria just because I told myself, Abioye, you need to update your social network. Then I make that investment. All right? So it's very important. Okay? Your ability to track your expenses is a great asset. It's a great habit. Trust me. Okay. And some of us, listen to me, you are so confused. You are thinking, what kind of business should I invest in? Let me give you an idea. Go online, open your bank app. If you are doing GT or Zenith, any bank, and request for your last 6 months statement of accounts. Okay, you can, thank God, you can download it as a PDF. Then take time, look at what you have spent money on in the last 6 months. Just look at the things that has been consuming your money. Okay, then that should give you an idea what you can invest in, what you can start selling. At least you'll be your own number one customer. Okay, so very important. So your habit could be an asset, and it could also be a liability. So my charge this morning is that convert your habit into becoming an asset. Number 3, self-perception. The way you perceive yourself could determine, okay, if you see yourself as an asset or not. Okay, the way we perceive things, your perception of life, okay, could drift you into wealth and could also drift you into complete liability. Are we together? So, if you say rich men are greedy, technically speaking, you might just be blocking your way to becoming rich yourself. Okay, you see somebody that drives a very nice car, and you quickly suspect the person to be a Yahoo boy, or it's a corrupt politician, or blah, 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 blah. No, you attract what you appreciate. So perception is very key. The way you see yourself, do you see yourself as someone of value? If you see yourself as a person of value, then you want to protect that value by ensuring that you invest in your personal development. Okay, how many books do you read monthly to protect yourself? Okay, it's very important. So the perception, it's very critical. Okay, so convert your self-perception to becoming an asset and not liability. Be careful what you focus on. Okay, what you focus on becomes your reality. Your focus expands. Be careful what expands in your life. Okay, be careful what expands in your life. All right? Number 4, sensual asset. Now, this is very interesting. Okay, I'm sure we all understand what sensual means. In the English definition, it has to do with physical appreciation, okay, and something that connotes sexuality. Okay, there is an asset a lot of people have that they don't even know is an asset that can be converted into money-making venture. Okay, everybody listening to me right now, you have sensual assets. Some of us, our sensual assets are visible, while some needs to be developed, then becomes visible. Okay, the worst thing that can happen to any one of you listening to me is to abuse your sensual assets. Your essential asset has to do with your attractiveness, the way you look. So the way you look can be converted into a massive asset that opens door for you. Okay? So a beautiful lady, for example, the worst thing that beautiful lady can do is to abuse her sensual asset. Okay? Imagine an attractive lady, a very handsome guy that now has intellectual capacity. Then if you are smart enough, you now have spiritual backing. Even devil cannot stop you. All right? Even devil cannot stop you. So you need to protect your sensual assets by making sure that you show up looking as attractive as possible on a daily basis. Even if you are going to the supermarket, protect your sensual asset. Look good. Dress nice, smell nice. The way you smell is very important. All right? Protect your sensual asset. It could open doors for you. And for those of you that believe so much in your sensual asset, is it making money for you? Okay. What do you know that if you go into modeling, acting as a side hustle, okay, photography, all right, documentary, producing video trainings, because you know that the intellect is there, then you are sure, okay, that you are attractive enough. Put yourself out there, produce something tangible that people will be very happy to pay for. But what opens that door is basically your sensual assets. So my charge also is that protect your sensual assets. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, people as an asset. Okay, which is closely related to where I started from, which is relationship. Okay, so the people in your life could become assets to you or liability. Okay, and so it's very important that you surround yourself with generous. All right, because life is a battle. Life is a battle, and you must be a warrior yourself. And for you to win the battle of life, you must have great generals around you. Then look at people around you. Are they generous? Are they people that can show up for you? If you cannot boast of about 3, 4 people that can show up for you in times of crisis, then you need to declare a state of emergency on your social capital. Declare a state of emergency on your inner circle. Okay, and for people to show up for you, the question is that, are you also showing up for others? Okay, because the universe has a way of turning these things around. So anything you want in any relationship, be sure you are giving it back also. Now, spiritual assets. Spiritual asset, number 6. This is very important. Your spirituality can be a liability and could also become an asset to you. Okay. And I want to believe that a good number of those of you listening to me today, at least I believe 90% of you listening to me, believe in God. I believe in God. Either you're a Muslim or you're a Christian. All right. Now, there is a way everything that happens in the physical had already happened in the spiritual. All right. So what that simply means is that there is a way you can leverage on your spiritual assets by knowing things that are to be. Now, this is very deep. What that are to be can be revealed to you in your dreams, can be revealed to you through meditation, can be revealed to you through a close relationship with God. So whereby all you just have to do is to implement. And before you know it, your asset level keeps increasing on a daily basis. Okay, you having spiritual assets protect your physical assets. Okay, I was supposed to make a very interesting financial decision. Okay, and it was later revealed to me that I should hold on, that I should not do it this April. So when it was revealed to me from the spiritual realm not to do it this April, then I now became curious because I really wanted to do this thing. And guess what, everyone? When I researched further about these guys, it discovered that they were scams. I could have invested and I could have lost money. And when I lost, after losing money, that means that my asset has been depleted because of loss in that investment. Okay, so it's very important that you build your spirituality. It's a personal journey. Okay, so you have to do a spiritual audit of yourself. That how well do you hear from God? How spiritually alert are you? This is a different conversation. I hope I've not lost somebody, please. Now I'm wrapping up gradually. Then number 7 is energy management. If you don't have enough energy, you cannot build assets. All right. If you don't have enough energy, you cannot build the right asset. Okay. And to have enough energy, you need to focus on these 4 domains of your life. Okay. Because building assets, especially for those who are businessmen, it requires you writing proposals. Okay. Building assets requires you reviewing proposals. Building assets requires you writing business plans. Building assets requires you reviewing business plan if you are the investor. But if you are the one looking for the money, you must write business plan. Okay, building asset requires you doing a lot of research about that field you want to go into. You see why energy is important. So if you have a very low energy level, then of course you will not be able to write that proposal effectively. You end up spending more time writing that proposal because your energy level is low. But if your energy level is high, the proposal you could have spent a whole day writing, in 2 hours, that proposal is ready. So your energy is an asset. So you must protect your energy. All right? So you need to see your energy as an asset. You can see I'm changing our perspective from things, traditional things we see as assets. All right? So your energy is an asset. All right. And for you to protect this important asset of yours, please focus on these 4 domains. Okay? Focus on these 4 domains of your life. Number 1, your physical health. Number 1 is what? Your physical health. You must take care of your physical health. Like I said earlier, exercise your body, know the right food for you. There is even a book I have on my shelf here. It's a diet for different blood type. So you must know your blood type. You must know the right diet for your blood type. You must know if your system is too acidic already or does not have enough acidity. You know, the way you have to balance your body with alkaline and everything. You must be a master of your structure, your bodily structure. So your physical health is very important. Number 2 is your mental health. Number 2 is your mental health. I discovered this some 10 years, 11 years ago, and I started taking care of my mental health. Okay, anything that is important to me, I can put it, okay, in my head, and I will still retain it because it's important to me. Okay, and guess what, everyone? There is a supplement I take, okay, at least a week every quarter. So in a whole week, I take that supplement. And that supplement is just to help me with my memory because I know I'm not getting younger. All right, I'm not getting younger. So, and the older you become, the tendency is high of you losing or forgetting things so easily. So I need to do what? Ensure that I take care of my mental health. It's very important. Okay. Number 3 domain you need to take care of if you must maintain the right energy, ladies and gentlemen, is your emotional health. Is your emotional health. Protect your emotional health. Poor emotional health can crash your energy level, can depress you, can make you vegetable, can make you inactive, and can drift you into a depth. Okay, it can dip you into a ditch that is almost bottomless. Okay, so it's very important that you take care of your emotional health. Never get engaged in an abusive relationship. Okay, never allow anybody to abuse you emotionally. Your emotional health, I'm sorry, is your life. Protect it at all costs. If you're emotionally down, ladies and gentlemen, you will not build assets. Even the assets you have right now, they will eventually become liabilities because you deplete them because you are not productive. It takes productivity for your asset level to go up. Okay, so emotional health is very important. And the 4th domain is your spiritual health, which I've spoken about already. So protect your energy level by taking care of your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health. Finally, intellectual assets. Intellectual assets. Intellectual assets. Intellectual assets. Your intellectual asset opens door for you. Okay, Aliko Dangote today is the richest man in Africa. Recently, he gathered all the presidents in East Africa into a room, and he was telling them how he can transform and provide them energy security. This was just a few days ago. All right. Do you know, as influential as Aliko Dangote is, you and Aliko Dangote could be at the same level intellectually. Okay, maybe probably what he might have more than you is life experiences and the volume of his wealth. So whereby the day you are in the same room with Aliko Dangote, you guys can have an intellectual conversation and you'll be saying, wow, where is this guy coming from? Okay? Just some 2 nights ago, I had the privilege of making a presentation to a former governor, okay, who is now a board chairman of one of the government parastatals. Okay, he gave me, okay, of course, he didn't tell me, Abioye, this is the number of time, because I saw the volume of people waiting to see him. So I told myself, I'm not going to talk more than 5 minutes. Okay, I had to leverage on my intellectual assets because I had trained myself for that moment. And I made sure I didn't talk more than 5 minutes. And he looked at me and said, wow, this is a beautiful idea. I need a proposal from you. Then I will hand you over to the MD. Okay. Immediately, because I have high energy level, within few hours, the proposal was ready. Then I leverage on my people relationship. I have a friend, Faith. I wish he was on this call today. I will have publicly thanked him. He made it happen. He had one of the best printing press, okay, in area, I think area 3 in Abuja. Okay. And in the night, I told Faith, almost 6 p.m., I said, Faith, please, I need you to produce, I want a quality production of this proposal. I don't just want to go to any business plan, any business center and just produce a PowerPoint slide. No. I want it. Faith stayed late at night, into the night. He made the production for me, and I find my way. Okay, myself and my sponsor, because somebody must open the door for you. Okay, so part of my relationship was what opened that door for me. And I said to her, Ma, you must follow me. We must go together to submit this proposal. And we went again. The man was wowed again by the quality of the proposal. Okay, that is the power of intellectual assets. You must build your intellectual assets. There's what they call the elevator speech. You must have an elevator speech of what you are, who you are, what you sell. So the day you are Transcorp and you are stuck in the elevator, or you are in the elevator with Tony Elimelu, okay, and look at you, say, gentleman, lady, what are you into? That is not the time for story. That is the time to unleash your intellectual asset in 1 minute, in 60 seconds. And how do you protect your intellectual assets? By staying in a community like this, by investing in your mind, by reading books, okay, by being now AI is changing dynamics now, okay, by mastering how AI works, by looking at, there is a particular AI application, okay, that is my number one thinking partner. I think with it, okay. I will just say, oh, bro, what's up? What do you think about this? Then we'll have a conversation. Okay, AI is not designed to make you dull or to make you less intellectually inclined. No. If you are a dull person, it will also impact on what you are feeding AI with, and AI too will feed you back with a dull response. So you must be somewhat of high intellect to make the best of AI. Okay, so I want to encourage you to build your intellectual assets so that the day somebody brings a proposal to you, you have the capacity to analyze that proposal. The day you see on news that government is issuing out new bonds and everything, you know exactly what it means. You know whether you should key into it or not. Okay. The day they say to you that, oh, there is a new real estate project coming up and it is selling very fast, you know exactly what to do to even do verification about that location and the documentation they are bringing to you before you even talk to your lawyer. It's part of it. So your intellectual asset protects your physical asset, okay? And of course, I need us to know that to survive, you need more of assets than liabilities. Do you get that? To survive, we all need more assets than liabilities. So the question now is that, are you an asset? Okay, can you refer to yourself as an asset? Do you have the right perception of yourself? Ladies and gentlemen, believing yourself is not the same thing as being proud. Okay? The best thing anybody can do to me right now is to reject me. Because when you reject me, in short, I will even cry on your behalf because you don't even have an idea what you just left behind. All right? Because I know I'm an asset. That does not mean that I do not have shortcomings. because my ability to understand my shortcomings, okay, in every relationship helps me to ensure I work on that shortcomings to make sure that I deepen that relationship. Okay, I can cry to save any important relationship because at the end of the day, it all boils down to the quality relationship you have, because what you know and who you know equals massive assets. So at this point, I will want to pause, and I'm sure there are questions for me. Okay, so I will want engineer Kenneth to possibly help me coordinate the question purpose. So maybe during question and answer, probably I can provide you with new insights, okay, into kind of investment you can go into, you can decide to leverage on to building a massive asset and reduce the level of liability at your disposal. Because whether we like it or not, there will always be liabilities around us. There will always be what's it called? Things to spend money on, but your asset level must always be higher at every point in time. So thank you so very much, everyone. Engineer Kenneth, sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Can I see the emojis? I already saw somebody responding. If you think you've got value, you know, I did a post on my page, on my WhatsApp status 3 days ago. Always bring value. For the records, Abioye is speaking to us for free. He's taking his Saturday money he could be using to develop another real estate project or make marketing, and he's speaking to us. But that he's speaking to us for free did not mean that he served us cold snack. You know, a cold snack, right? So please, can we just appreciate him, your comments and the rest? Thank you very much, Sir Abioye. It's been my pleasure hosting you. Let me tell us something about developing a relationship. Nobody introduced me to Abioye. For those of you who go to Facebook to insult people and fight on Instagram, nobody introduced me to him. I saw his profile on Facebook friends, and I said to myself, this person have value. You should connect. Nobody introduced us. You remember, I sent him a message. We met at Sedi Plaza. You know, his wife had to come and carry him away. We had such a connection. The first day we met, we had such a connection and a conversation. We didn't know where time went. His wife came to Sedi Plaza like, oh, what? You mean time had already gone? So for you, there's somebody you need to reach out to. Don't be too proud. Develop the intellectual capital. He said something. Somebody has to open some doors for you. If you knock, nobody may answer. If you break in, they will say you are a thief. When somebody opens the door and holds your hand, you now belong. So I would like to take questions. I'd like to take questions. I want to move towards the end. And Abioye, I want to say thank you very much. Interestingly, he spoke to us for 1 hour, as if on clockwork. Absolutely. So the next few minutes, we are going to take questions from anybody. If you have a question, put your hands up and then I'll recognize you and then you can unmute. If not, he would move into some investment portfolio. But one thing I want to say before I let him continue is, you know, with the way he approached this, I feel very wealthy. Let me tell you what I mean. I have intellectual capacity, even though I'm still developing it, right? That's an asset. I have physical capacity. That's an asset. I have spiritual intelligence. That's an asset. I have some good habits. That's an asset. I'm working on some bad habits. Okay, let me tell you one habit I'm working on in 2026. Consistency. If I say I will do it, I do it. Consistency. I started in December 2025. I'm working on consistency for 2026. It's a good habit I'm developing while I'm starting to throw away the bad habit, like emotional roller coaster kind of life where you are today, you feel like this, you feel like that. So I feel rich because I have all of those assets. So if we have questions, Somtochukwu, if you have a question, Barnabas, if you have a question, please put your hands up. Okay, Stanley has raised his hand. So please unmute yourself and then we'll take the first question. Go ahead, Stanley.
Okay. I really want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Kenneth, and then a very big thank you to Dr. Abioye. It was really a nice section, and I really learned a lot from this. My weekend is even going nice and good. So my question is, you talked about relationship, and you said a lot of things about relationship. So I'm this kind of person. I find it a bit difficult in this issue of relationship. And I know when you come in terms of relationship, you need to find a way to make yourself more closer, or even get the person knowing you and you both get talking. So how do you get to find your space? Like, how do you get to win the heart of probably someone you want to be in a relationship with? Basically, maybe you go for an event and you want to network with people, because I'm this kind of person. When I go for an event, sometimes I find it difficult to even network with people. Like, how do I approach this person? Because it's not every person that wants to talk to everybody who comes there. So my question is, how do you approach someone when it comes in terms of trying to create that kind of relationship, so it wouldn't feel like it's an offense you want to talk to me, or basically on because we are in the world and so many people might feel you coming to them, you want to take something off them. So how do you tend to approach the person in order to create that balanced relationship so that the person doesn't feel offended?
Beautiful. Thank you, Stanley. Very important question. That used to be one of my biggest challenge back in the day, because of my primary disposition of being highly introverted. I used to be so introverted that I feel I would just die if I'm put in front of people to speak. And every limitation can always be overcome with knowledge. Okay, knowledge is the differentiator. So what you just said now, Stanley, it's an opportunity to determine the kind of book you should read. Okay, that is a clear book. So if you are searching for, because I always encourage people every quarter, worst case twice a year, do what I call a self-SWOT analysis. Okay, ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities around me? And what are the threats to my success? Do it every quarter. It's very powerful exercise. Okay, for Stanley now, if you are to do this exercise now, maybe under your weaknesses could be effective networking. Okay, so by the time you start reading, looking for books on networking, approaching people, making yourself attractive, you'll be surprised the quality of knowledge you will gain. There's something I learned from Tony Robinson. Tony Robinson said that appearance is more important initially. Let me say that again. Appearance is a lot more important initially. You know what that means? Your appearance opens the door, but your content determines if you stay in that room or not. Okay, so especially when it comes to cold networking, you are in a function and you see quality people around. Okay, so your appearance is very important. So before you even leave the house, you tell yourself, I need to appear successful. Okay, I need to appear successful. That's why I'm always very happy that I have people like Uche, and I'm glad he's on this call. He's a fashion designer and everything. And that's the power of relationship, because when you have different people in different sector in your life that can support you with what you do. Like, for example, Uche is one of those people that support me with my appearance, for example. So it's very important that for every function you are going to, what is the function about? Then you can even do a research about the function. Then you appear as successful as possible. Then your content deepens your confidence, because See, I used to be very, very shy. I used to and I discovered that my shyness basically is not because of my temperament. It was because I had nothing to say. It was because I was empty inside. Then I started building my content by reading books, okay, by learning by observation, by observing successful people. Okay, so it's very important that when you build your content, so because you've built your content, you've read the right book, so you know that, oh, this guy, this woman, or this gentleman, I want to network with this person. So you already rehearse your opening conversation with the person already. And compliment is always a door opener. So you compliment them genuinely. Okay. Then you let them know. I remember I walked up to a man at a function. This was some 7, 8, 10, 9 years ago. I can't remember clearly. You know what I said to the person? I said to the person that I really admired his disposition when he entered the room. Okay. And I promised myself that I was never going to allow my fear to deprive me of an opportunity of talking to him. Guess what? I disarmed him by that statement. I disarmed him and he just drew me to one corner and we started the conversation. Okay. So it's very important that, number one, you appear well. Do you have the right content? Then go for it. You'll be surprised how well they will be open to talking to you. And before you know it, you start building that relationship. And of course, you must always provide value first before you make any demand in that relationship.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Stanley, two things I will say. Remind you, content will build confidence. If you have content, it will build your confidence. And for people who sell, understand growing thick skin. If one person says no, don't take it personal and move on to the next person. You don't need 100 people in your cycle. He said, if you have 3 quality people in your cycle, that's something. If you have 10 people in your network, that's something. So if one says no, move on to the next person. Look out for another person you can relate with. So the floor is still open for more questions. I was just putting that for Stanley. You don't need everybody. So more questions. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to you, Abioye, as you tie everything together. You said you're going to talk to us about some assets in terms of actual investment. Now, why I like everything you've talked to us today are things I like to say within our area of control. All of us can work on our habits. You don't need 1 million to start. We can work on our relationship. We can work on our self-perception. We can work on our sensual assets. We can work on our people around us, like the question Stanley asked. We can work on our spiritual assets, your spiritual sensitivity, prayer, meditation. We can manage our energy. Then we can manage our intellectual asset, read and have some intellectual discussions. So all of this, why I like it is there are things we can work on. But now, beyond this, we said we're going to talk to us more about things we can invest in as assets. Now, if you notice today, we've not talked about expenses. We all know what we spend money on, right? So we are not going to talk about that. Instead, let's deal with the assets. So I'm going to hand over to you, Abioye, to talk about assets, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. I must almost put a disclaimer. What is easy to do is also not easy to do. It's easy to work on your habit. Trust me, it's a whole lot also not easy to doing it. Now, at the beginning of this year, I believe, there is a friend of mine, I'm glad she's on this call, the Gimbia of Abuja. I'm glad she made it to this call. She said something to me. She said, Abioye, do you know that this your knowledge and everything, you are not even making enough money from it? Okay. If you leverage and you organize this your knowledge, do you know so much you can make from it? Okay. And I said, okay, that's true. Because, when you're into real estate, we are always driven by that big money that real estate brings. And sometimes it doesn't come as expected. So what that means is that you need to ensure that you create a bread and butter system around you that protects your cash flow. Okay. So I will just use my some of the things I started doing differently this year as a blueprint for somebody that might want to tag along, because you can intellectualize anything you do. Okay, any business you cannot intellectualize is not a business. If you are into fashion business, you can start writing. You can become a fashion blogger. Okay, you can start writing newsletters about fashion that you'll be sending to your clients. Okay, and whereby they'll start seeing you differently and they'll start coming. You can even write a whole book that you put online and people start. I downloaded a friend's book, Average Socks, some few days ago, and I paid 10,000 naira or something for that download. Okay, so imagine if she's having, like, let's say 50 downloads per month. That is enough to take care of certain things in our life. Okay, so what I first did was that I now detach my personal brand from my corporate brand. All right. Then I now told myself that this personal brand of mine, I need to commercialize an aspect of it. Okay. So what I've now done is that I created a website I called coachabioye.com. Okay, where I now provide coaching services to certain small business owners and big business owners at a minimum quarterly fee. So what I call the 90 days bliss. So what happens that every 90 days, you determine if you want to sack me or you want to retain my service. Okay. But every quarter you pay a token for my time. So for that, every 1 hour I spent with you on a daily basis for 90 days. Okay. There's a little token you will pay for it. So that means that I'm gradually converting my intellect to becoming an income generating system, apart from that big project that I typically love to develop. Okay. Now, then there's a book I started writing some few months ago. Now I had to quickly complete the process of the book. Now, very soon, I'm going to launch that book. Then that will also do what? Improve on my cash flow. Now, I started writing or discussing with certain organization to start doing in-house trainings for them. That is also bringing some in form of what? Inflow. That has nothing to do with my real estate project at all. So the question is that, what can you do with the knowledge you have today? How well can you brand it and commercialize it? So it's very important. So try to intellectualize, commercialize your current knowledge level. So don't just know for knowing sake. No, let that knowledge create some level of wealth inflow for you, because whether we like it or not, the future is designed to be more expensive. Because we have this insight already into the future, then why not increase your asset? Like Engineer Kenneth just said that, let's not worry about expenses, let's worry about assets, because once you have enough assets, don't worry, your expenses will be consumed by your asset and your assets will be solid. Now, I want to make some suggestions, but maybe some people might want to ask me in specific time. There are things you can do. For example, you could decide to say, okay, I want to go into real estate. And there are different things you can do with real estate. Like the short stay apartment, for example, is something anybody can do. Okay. For example, let's say you have a 5 million naira with you and you are thinking, what do I do with this 5 million naira? You can rent a 1-bedroom apartment, okay, in a good part of Wusetu. I don't even know if 3 million can even pay for a 1-bedroom apartment in Wusetu, because I know things are very expensive these days. So let's just assume, so this is an assumption, so don't run with the figure. Let's assume that you can rent a good apartment in Wusetu with 3 million naira. Okay, then you spend about 1.5 million to reasonably furnish, to 2 million naira to reasonably furnish the apartment. Okay, and you put it out for short stay. Okay, you had invested 5 to 7 million in bringing the apartment to life. Okay, everything in that apartment is an asset to you, from your TV to the fridge to the beddings to the chairs and everything. Your risk exposure is your rent you have paid for, and maybe some little consumables you've already built into the project. Okay, but guess what? That apartment could potentially, I can do the math for you now, can potentially make you an average of over 8 million naira in profit annually at 60% performance. So it's an aspect that we can all look into. Okay. You can also look into companies that have great future, okay, that are doing well, they have good track record. You can buy into the company's shares anytime they are doing private placement. Okay, they are not necessarily a public company, but because the company is owned by your friend, they are doing well, and you want to own part of the company. So you can also invest in such companies. Tech is also a great way where you can invest money into. And when I say tech, you must not be a tech person to be a tech investor. You can create a concept and get a tech person to developing that concept of yours into a mobile application. Okay, and that mobile application will definitely be a differentiator, okay? It will then be a differentiator, and before you know it, you start generating income. So that a whole lot, like I said earlier, you can invest in the agri sector, okay? So whereby you do the commodity game, whereby you stock those agro products, then you bring them to the market when there is demand for such product, but you already invested in a powerful storage capacity. Okay, gold is another interesting commodity that you can invest in. But one thing about gold that is typically a long-term investment if you want to profit properly from it. However, if you just want to hedge your money against inflation, and maybe probably make small profits from it, because it's easier and faster to sell gold than to sell an apartment. It's easier for you to sell your gold than to sell your land in case you have crisis. So it is also important. So you know that at least worst case, you will sell this gold at the purchase price or maybe slightly above, but you might not make that plenty millions from it. But of course, if you buy your gold today and you are selling 10 years after, of course, you'll be making a whole lot from it. But in terms of liquidity, gold is best you save your money in gold than to just leave it in your account, especially when you are still thinking of an investment to go into. So there are a lot of ideas out there. Probably, maybe if somebody wants to pick my brain in the house, maybe you have something you are thinking of already and you are thinking of how to expand it, probably I could give you some insight. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so I'm sure we are gradually approaching the end of today. If I have any more questions, I will take. If not, I will once again say thank you, Dr. Abioye, for your time. Thank you for doing us this honor of spending the time with us. And like he said, something he said, yeah, I'm telling him thank you for his time, but also for everyone who was part of this conversation. Thank you all for spending this Saturday morning with us. For people like us that like talking, that like teaching, when you give us audience, you do us a favor. And like I said to everyone, he's doing this for us for free. This is what you get from relationship. I have like 26 people on the call, and I want to tell everyone that I'm very, very grateful. And maybe in particular, Chidi, Adekbite, I think Uchena, Mariana, yes, those people who came in early, I need to single them out. And like I said, we have a WhatsApp group that makes communication here easy. So please join the WhatsApp group. Chidi dropped the link in the group. I know some people have already used it. Join the WhatsApp group. It makes things easier. In the next few days, we'll drop the book of the month. I did a review of how to get rich without being lucky at the beginning of this program. So we have a book of the month. He talked about developing your intellectual capacity. So as a group, we minimum one book a month, and they are usually very easy books to read. They are usually books that develop your skill about money. The last phrase from the book review today is that one thing you must do is to continue to learn. Let me read that phrase the way it's Navi Ravikant said. He said, the most important skill for getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner. Dangote is still reading. Tony Elumelu is still reading. So for you, one of the things we do on this group is to also learn, is to also read. So you can join the group, Chidi drop the link there, and then we can have the rest of the conversation there. This video would be available likely towards the end of the day. It's usually on my Facebook channel, Elevate 360 with Kenneth Ube. But if you are not in the group, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do, because we'll share the video. We'll share the video. Yes, Chidi has dropped the link again in the comment section. Once you click that link, you join the WhatsApp group. We're going to share this video. We'll share the book of the month. And for those who are just joining us, I'm going to share our budgeting template. He talked about tracking your expenditure. The easiest way to track your expenditure is to have a budget and then have a place where you track. I've been using it for the month. Can I tell you the truth? I've realized I'm spending more money than I budgeted, though, because when I want to spend some money, I ask myself, is it in the budget? Now, because I'm using it for the first month, I realized that I under budgeted for certain things. And that was because I wanted to save more. So I've eaten into my savings. I'm the one confessing. But I'm sure when I do budget for me, I will allow for some certain other expenditure that I didn't plan for. Fuel chopped my plenty money. I still bought fuel this morning. It chopped more money than I budgeted. Well, it's Nigeria, it's the price of fuel. But at the end of the day, it tracks your expenditure. Because I kept asking myself questions. Is this in the budget? How much is in the budget? So it helps you track expenditure. All of those kind of conversations we share in the group. And I'm sure in the middle of the month, we are going to have one meeting. Though normally we meet last Saturday of every month, 8 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m. in the morning or 8 p.m. in the evening. It's the money code. Here we learn about the 3 key pillars of money: making it, managing it, and then multiplying it. Today we actually focus more on managing and multiplying. Those are the 3 pillars we revolve around: making money, managing money, and then multiplying money, which is actually what we call wealth. It's the money code. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. No, it's a community of people who are building wealth sustainably. It's not hammer today and be poor tomorrow. It's building wealth in a sustainable way. So it's my pleasure being your host. I've been so glad, and it's been my joy. Thank you very much, Chidi, for all the help. And I'm sure as the days continue, I'm going to need help from every other person who is here with us so that we can take this conversation to the next level. A lot of people here in the group. Mariama, thank you, the first person in the meeting. Adedigba, thank you. Uchena, thank you. Uchena, the fashion designer, join the group. Oh, Tracy, I'm glad you could make it. Somto Chuku, and every other person, Patience on the call. It's been my pleasure being your host. Please join the group. The link is in the chat. Every other message, every other conversation will be taking place there. And we are going to share the video of this conversation in the group. If you have any more questions, please. Oh, yes. Oh, Chizoba. Thank you, Chizoba. Okay, Chizoba, because of that, my mistake, send me your email address. I have a gift for you. Chizoba was actually the first person in the meeting. Thank you for the correction. I have a gift for you, Chizoba. Please share your email address with me in the group. I have a PDF book specially for you for being the first person in the meeting. Thank you for reminding me. And to our guest speaker, Dr. Abioye, it is in India, they say namaste. We are very, very, very grateful. Thank you all for being with me this morning. The rest of the conversation happens in the group, and then we are meeting again at the last Saturday in May. So till we meet again, it's been my pleasure. Marilyn, you cooked some good soup for me today. Don't just give me thumbs up there. Thank you all for joining me, and it's been my pleasure. So I'm going to end the meeting. I will say that one. Uchena, please send me a message personally. Fashion designer, Uchena, send me a message. I need to look as fine as Abioye, so please send me a message personally. So to everyone, please click the link, join the group. Click the link, join the group. All of that conversations can continue there. I'm sure I've taken care of what needs to be taken care of. My phone number is somewhere in the group, 339111067. If you join the group, you'll find it there. I'll share our book of the month with us within the week. I think Dr. Abioye already mentioned the book of the month. I think we'll settle for that for the book of the month. So thank you very much. You two all have a lovely day. Be productive today so that when you sleep at night, Abioye says sleep is not a right. It is a reward for a day well spent. I'm going to leave you guys here now and get to work. So when I sleep tonight, it will be a reward for a day well spent. Thank you all very much. Permit me to end the meeting now, and it's been my pleasure being your host. Thank you. Let me stop recording.